Good evening, everybody. So you may recognize this magazine from another one of the videos that Patrick has put up several weeks ago. But I had this idea. I never actually watched the video that he did with this on purpose because I thought it might be interesting to do sort of a different point of view. I think everybody has different things that are sparked by seeing magazines or things from the past, and so I was thinking that it might be kind of interesting to see what his point of view is versus my point of view on some of these different magazines and things like that. So it's sort of like a response video, but more like a point of view video. So this is the People Weekly from January 5th, 1981. Now, I'm not that much younger than he is, but at this point I was only 3. So I was pretty young, but I, of course, remember all of these faces. Very much so. Of course, Nancy and Ronald Reagan. Her famous red, that was her favorite color. For whatever reason, the only thing I think about when I think of them is, of course, her DARE program to keep kids off drugs. And for him, I think about jelly beans because for whatever reason, that was like a fact that they would always tell us about in elementary school. Brooke Shields, she was very young here, but when I was younger, I had a Brooke Shields doll. She was like a Barbie doll. She came with kind of a gray-blue sweater and white pants, like stirrup pants. She was very cool at that time. And of course, everybody knows these other famous faces. So these are faces to watch in 1981. So 25 most intriguing people of 1980. Clairol, Small Miracle. I don't remember that bottle at all. It kind of has like a comet. But she had the classic hair and the classic fan blown back look. Calvin Klein jeans. It's funny how their advertising really hasn't changed that much over the years. I mean, they've kept the logo the same, and for the most part, their ads are very similar. It's just slightly provocative. They're a little bit more provocative now, but focuses on the product and the aesthetic of the people that are wearing their products. Sports update every minute. Wow, is that like sports radio advertising? Enterprise Radio, the sports network, that's interesting. Never was a sports person anyway, not to mention that seems very specific, especially for 1980, 81. This is a special double feature, double issue, excuse me. Boomers. Members of the post-war baby boom are growing up and changing the face of America. It's kind of an odd mix. You have all of this stuff like Hollywood and stuff, and then you have, fleeing war and famine and kind of some heavy stuff. Do people ever really write the editors anymore? Is that really a thing? Pioneer Syscom. So what were these? Were these tapes? Okay, so these were tapes. Yeah. Columbia House tapes. I didn't do Columbia House until they were CDs. Cheap Trick, James Taylor, original cast, Grease soundtrack, Air Supply, Lost in Love, Simon and Garfunkel, Barbra Streisand. ABBA, Chicago, any 10, 1 cent, and then you're forever indebted to them. Oh wait, take your pick. You can have records, 8 tracks, tapes, or reel-to-reel tapes. What? Caricature art. Ed McMahon. Billy D. Williams. Ed McMahon, Star Search. Which was always something we watched at our house. Look at the Buick logo with the eagle? Yeah, the eagle. I don't remember that kind of pairing. Our little limousine. Oh, actual cassette tapes. That's for making mixtapes from the radio. And you would call into your DJ, your local DJ, and ask him to play you a song so that you could catch it on the radio. Hondas are still good cars. The best of 1980 movies. The Coal Miner's Daughter, Airplane. I don't know. I know The Great Santini. I don't know Melvin and Howard. I mean, there's gonna be a good little bit of this I may not know because I was so little. Some of it kind of goes on, like you'll have seen it later on because we're not as inundated. You weren't as inundated with new things all the time in the 80s like you are now. So certain things kind of lived on a little longer. I know Somewhere in Time. I know Heaven's Gate. Xanadu. Actually, I never seen that movie though. But I know the movie. Ronald Reagan, the president-elect, talks about his health and children and his divorce. When Hollywood and politics began to collide. Like I said, every time I see his face, every single time, the first thing I think of is a jelly bean. And, that's like the most innocent, childlike thing to think of. Is I remember that his favorite thing was jelly beans. Was Private Benjamin that old of a movie too? I didn't realize that. It's actually it's a cheesy idea, but in the end it wasn't that bad actually. I think it's weird too how a lot of this magazine so far has been black and white except for some ads. You would think a special double issue would have full color, but of course these were weekly, so it probably got expensive to run them full color all the time. Black and white is cheaper. Oh, Petri dishes mean science. I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I also feel like now People magazine is a little bit more completely Hollywood, and this is an article about biological engineering of some sort or other, where they're looking to, just real quickly, it looks like it's a biochemist and he's trying to develop a new drug or something from bacteria and genetic engineering. I don't know. But I feel like People magazine wouldn't cover this now. Maybe I'm wrong. That's just funny. Has 5 gold medals on his chest and crest to help him keep the gold out of his teeth. I don't think anybody like does gold fillings anymore. That was a sign of the times. Fidel Castro. Ford Fairmont. It's like some surveillance video. Sugar Ray Leonard. See, now look how bright that ad is. After all of that, and then, you know, it's the ads that they paid for to be in color. And those are all illustrations. They're really well done. This is like 40 years ago. That's insane. Filtered. I don't remember this at all. Of course, once again, I was 2, maybe. Yeah, at this point, I was still 2. I'm more satisfied. I just always think it's so weird to see these now. Full spread ad, full color. No rum reflects Puerto Rico like Rico. Oh my gosh, these sets. Is that like a Time Life set? Yeah, Time Life books. The Seafarers. I've never seen these before. Normally out and about at thrift stores and stuff, I will see at least like 1 or 2 of these, but I've never seen this set before. It must be really rare. Patrick has several of the Time Life book sets, and they're actually really not, I mean, you know, if you're into a subject, you're going to cover it with a set of these. I remember when this kind of stuff was on TV all the time, too, where you'd have advertisements, and it was like, you know, monthly payments of $19.95, and they'd send you like a book a month or something. And if you didn't like that one, you could send it back. I don't know if that's how these were or not. Yeah, you have like 10 days to examine it for free. Back then, it was such a hassle to do that kind of stuff that there's no way in the world that if you had it sent to you, you were going to return it. More cigarettes, full color. Benson and Hedges. I remember that, but I don't know if they still exist or not. I'm pretty sure those more ones don't. Stephen King. Purveyor of chills. I'd imagine that something like this, if you think about it, every week would be, with the internet, we're so used to having everything immediately, so immediately. So I'd imagine that a weekly magazine about entertainment would be extremely popular. And really, your only good way of getting that kind of information in depth. A swift Norwegian teacher gets the cold shoulder to the other learners. That's interesting that they actually changed the orientation just to have that big picture like that. Oh, Jerry Falwell. I remember the name. And I remember that he was a preacher, but I don't remember a whole lot about seeing him in the early 80s. Pat Benatar. Oh, yeah. I don't think I ever... Another thing, too, there was a lot of people that I knew the names and I knew their music, but I didn't really know what they looked like because we did not have cable. We lived way out and we just didn't have cable, and you couldn't get cable. So I never saw some of these people. I didn't really know what they looked like. So there's a lot of people that I probably couldn't recognize that I would ordinarily know a good bit about, like their music. But I just never knew what they looked like. There's a lot of music videos to this day that I've never seen. For whatever reason, this makes me think of like cologne, not alcohol. So, not the same car, but my first car was a 1983 Chevrolet Cavalier station wagon. So when I saw this, it reminded me a good bit of them. This is a Chevrolet. It looks a lot like this, except station wagon, really. It was quite an old car when I got it, and it had been somebody's little just around town car, so it had really good mileage, but I totaled it within a year. Long story short, I was young, and I was alone, and it was an accident. Oomph. The taste of triumph. The taste of nasty cigarettes on your breath. Richard Pryor. Oh, Eudora Welty. Oh. I know I had to read something, like a short story or something from her, I think, in school. Name sounds familiar. Wait. I don't know who these people are. It's like one of the most famous ads ever. And Dan Rather. Everybody knows Dan Rather. I kind of hate that we don't have news anchors quite the same way that we did back then. They were kind of, I don't know. It was the news, and it was very serious. And today, things are just different. Just different. And vertical spread of Brooke Shields. This had to have been around the time. I think my doll was after this, because I think I had the doll in like 1985, something like that. And she was still like Blue Lagoon young there. Don't miss 2 explosive ABC News close-ups. It's like advertisements for like specials. Huh. That's interesting. I guess because it's weekly, they can do that. Because you don't really see that kind of stuff in magazines now. It's like special double issue where all of the advertisements are in color, but all of the stuff you want to read is black and white. Huh. James R. Ewing. Oh my gosh, it's like real people named J.R. Ewing. That's funny. It doesn't seem like that would be a very popular name. Anniversaries. This is interesting. So it's in 1930, Mrs. Ruth Wakefield, co-proprietor of the Toll House restaurant near Boston, was tired of pecan cookies, adding a broken-up chocolate bar to brown sugar dough. She accidentally created the chocolate chip cookie. Famous Amos and the rest of us thank her. Huh. So that was only 1930. The Women's Vote Drive. Ian Fleming, creator of James Bond. Rosa Parks refused to give up her bus seat to a white man and got arrested in Montgomery. 1955. Thomas Edison perfected the lamp oil. Oh gosh, y'all, I can't read. Perfected the electric lamp so he could read at night. The lamp oil. I don't know what I'm doing. Salvation Army invaded. Sadly, Rosa Parks and a chocolate chip cookie are the most interesting part of that. Once again, full color ads. Oh, more anniversaries. The out of focus snapshots and 100 years ago, George Eastman's company went to business. Diners Club. I never really understood that either. The first independent charge card operation. The client list consisted of 22 New York restaurants and 1 hotel. now that computerization has contributed to the credit card epidemic, the average American adult, you should excuse the expression, doesn't leave home without at least 4. So that's why they called it that. It was first a charge card for a select group of high-end New York restaurants or something. And this is talking about famine and war. Refugees, Haitian, Zimbabwe. So it's like just around the world. In need of food, shelter, and hope, the world's 17 million refugees are human time bombs. Sadly, I think this is, one of those subjects that has always been in the news, and I don't know that it'll ever stop. I don't know. I wish. Beirut, shanty towns, and a full-color Irish Spring ad. Yellow Irish Spring, what? More cigarettes. And famine Somalian refugees. Dot to dots, that's funny. And sports. I knew nothing about it then for sure, and I don't know anything about it now. John Travolta. Barbara Streisand. Miss Piggy. Now we're talking. That I understand. That I know. Ingrid Bergman, Shelley Winter, Sophia Loren, and those that finally got theirs. Snorts the latest celeb, ready to reveal all. Miss Piggy's Guide to Life would give fans beauty tips. Never use yellow lipstick, but nail polish is okay. Never put flowers in your nose. Unusual exercise programs. Telephone, toning the arms, and rolling advice when tipping. Divide the bill and by the height of the waiter. Hogwash? Then why is Miss P demanding a Today Show appearance as she pugnaciously commanded her publisher, tell them I won't be a bore. So, true story. When I was little, I thought that Miss Piggy was beautiful. I thought that she was the epitome of beauty, and that blonde hair and blue eyes, which is pretty much the exact opposite of what I have, was just, what beauty was all about, and she was just beautiful. I didn't realize that she was a puppet. It didn't really register with me. And I remember that I had a pair of those like cartoon character shoes that little kids get, and I had some that had Miss Piggy on the bottom, and it was like on the bottom of the sole, so when you first get them, it's like this full color picture of Miss Piggy, and then 2 weeks later you've rubbed all of Miss Piggy off, and I cried and I cried and I cried because Miss Piggy was gone from these shoes. Vivid ridiculous memories. Oh my gosh. Is this like a drink responsibly ad? Yeah, at the House of Seagram. Like, Seagram 7 or something? That's interesting. I guess this was, yeah, because this was like the New Year's edition. So this was your New Year's Eve party reminder to drink responsibly. Look at this awesome fashion. Betsy Johnson, she's still a thing. Very much so, I think. I don't know fashion, y'all. I really don't. All I know is that 2020 has been the year of the t-shirt and jeans. Work from home. Stevie Nicks. Baby boom stuff. Lonnie Anderson. I just always remember Lonnie Anderson and Burt Reynolds were always a item. Audrey Hepburn at age 51. And this Christmas, gave her favorite people. It's a little past Christmas. It may have to be like a belated Christmas present at this point, right? Barbara Walters. Harley Davidson. These are like all famous people who were military brats. James Woods, Victoria Principal, Chris Christopherson, Priscilla Presley, Gerber, and of course we have another cigarette ad on the back. It's just insane. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my point of view on this, which I feel like I'm probably going to do a couple more of these, and there will be magazines that are a little bit older, and I'll probably have a lot more memories because I was so young. But you know, there are things, of course, that kind of never change. But I hope you enjoyed this point of view, and we will see you next time.